Welcome back to Nick in Detail. I'm Nick, and in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the Auckland FC Tottenham Hotspur game, which took place in Auckland last weekend. In this video, I'll give my thoughts on the game, who was my standout player, and look ahead to who's next for Auckland FC. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. Auckland FC have had their first official hit-out ahead of the new A-League men's season, which starts in October. They took on English Premier League side Tottenham Hotspur, who are down under at the moment for a little tour of their own before their Premier League season kicks off in a few weeks' time. But the differences between the clubs and the leagues very much show. Tottenham Hotspur prevailing in a comfortable manner 2-0 before heading over for their next games in Australia. But let's get my thoughts on this game. This was actually a relatively good showing from Auckland FC in their first pre-season. Remember, they haven't got their full squad available to them. They're still making signings. They didn't even have a coach as well. And of course, some of those players who were with the All Whites at the World Cup weren't playing, although minus a couple of them with Logan Rogerson and Francis de Vries and Michael Val playing in this game. But overall, Auckland FC really gave Tottenham Hotspur a good run. Yes, it's pre-season. Tottenham very much in that first half, let alone playing very much a reserve sort of youngsters team, so didn't really get to see their full squad until really that second half period. But despite that, for Auckland FC's first hit out, and let alone without a coach as well, it was a pretty impressive showing. They probably should have scored a couple of goals. I think more notably Sam Cosgrove had plenty of opportunities to score, but they just couldn't take them. And I felt like that execution really lacked. But remember, this is only pre-season game one. You can't really be too critical. It's the first hit out of the new year. There's still plenty of games to come, let alone for Auckland FC before their season starts in October. And of course, well, Tottenham, their first game as well, of course, having just started their pre-season a few weeks ago. Of course, over in Australia at the moment, the Premier League starting in a few weeks' time. Remember, a lot of their players are still away, having been at the World Cup last month. So remember, they haven't got their full top squad available to them. But overall, for Auckland FC, this is a very good first header. I would say it's about a solid B grade if I was to actually rate them. This was a very solid performance from Auckland FC. Like I said, they should have scored a couple of goals and probably should have created a lot more opportunities, but very much showing that this side, despite not having a coach and very much changed from last season, can be very competitive. And for Tottenham Hotspur as well, I guess for them to get that 2-0 win is a great start for them ahead of their new season. What's been a disappointing couple of years for them, but I feel like with Roberto De Zerbi at the helm and also the players they've brought in this year as well, I feel like this Tottenham team can be much more competitive than they have been over the last few years. So overall, my thoughts on this game, a great head out. Tottenham obviously Hotspur very much showing, of course, the quality and obviously the big difference between the Premier League and the A-League of Auckland FC, despite them not having a full complete squad yet. A very good first outing for the defending A-League champions. So who was my standout for this game? Well, my standout was actually going to go to Logan Rogerson. Now, this guy, remember, didn't even make the World Cup squad last month, of course, with Matthew Garbett going in ahead of him. But, of course, Matthew Garbett going down before even that first game against Iran meant Logan Rogerson was called out from holiday to come and be in this all-white squad. Didn't even play, but despite that, still had that experience, still had that knowledge inside the camp and coming back and very much having a very good first outing. Lots of great deliveries for Sam Cosgrove. Of course, as I said before, very much should have been buried by Sam Cosgrove, but despite that, just looked like a whole different player. Well, we know he's under a lot of criticism last year, Logan Rogerson, for his performances throughout that season, even though I thought in the second half of the year, we actually saw his performances step up that little bit more. But yes, in this game against Tottenham Hotspur, I thought he was very impressive, very creative, always looking for that ball in, and overall just bringing lots of energy that Auckland FC wing. I actually think we're going to get a whole different Logan Rogerson this year than we have seen him play over last year more specifically, but of course as well over the few years he's already been at Auckland FC. And I'm very excited to see what Logan Rogerson can do. I think a player that can very much make a big influence in New Zealand football this year on that right-hand side. And for me, Logan Rogerson, my standout performer, a great performance from the right winger. So who's next for Auckland FC? Well, of course, as I said, their season doesn't start till October, so still plenty of time in their pre-season. We will very much see them play a lot of pre-season game against A-League opposition, but probably more local opposition as well. And of course, news over the week that, of course, they've now got their head coach in Portuguese man, Pedro Moreira, which will make a big difference for them. And of course, being, of course, in Uzbekistan last season, but prior to that, the last 5 or 6 years, he's also been assistant coach at Benfica and AS Roma over in Portugal and Italy. So it brings experience and very much a good replacement for me for Steve Corica. But for Auckland FC, their first competitive game isn't until the 17th of October, where they open their account at Go Media Stadium against Melbourne City. It will be a rematch actually of the elimination final last year, which Auckland FC prevailed 7-6 on penalties after a 1-all full-time score and even couldn't get past the 120-minute period. Because for Auckland FC, still a long time for them. They've now got their coach. We're going to see more players coming in as well, I would imagine. And of course, they also confirmed during the week as well that Aaron Culver, of course, a 7-time A-League champion and of course a very experienced Australian defender, has joined the squad as well. I think a great sign to bring that experience in. But for me, my big question mark is going to be how Pedro Moreira goes. We know these foreign coaches don't really have a great history in the A-League, although minus Adelaide United last year, who were very impressive last year under a foreign coach. But Pedro Moreira brings that experience. We know he's well because he's been part of some big European team setups over the last 5 or 6 years. I think very much for me, if you look at the wider picture of things, his CV is very impressive. I think probably for me a good replacement for Steve Corica, who of course has taken him and Danny Hay over to Japan for Yokohama in the Japan J1 League. But for Auckland FC, Melbourne City is their first competitive outing, 17th of October, to open the new A-League men's season. But that is going to be it for me. Yeah, overall, a very good showing from Auckland FC in this first game. And despite this team who haven't really made too many signings this year, obviously Lockie Bayliss and All White, of course, coming over from Newcastle, a great signing. Also promoted a lot of their Oceania Pro League players as well, who of course got Auckland FC to the Pro League as well. And of course, very much they have their intercontinental game next month against Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. But yes, for Auckland FC, I think despite all the noise around them in terms of not having a coach for that game, but also not having a complete squad, a very good outing. And I think based on that game alone, you can say Auckland FC are going to once again be in that favourite mark to claim the A-League title once again this upcoming season. But from me, that's going to be it. And until next time, I'll see you later.